Hello and welcome back once again to the Wrestling Rant. Tonight's episode of Raw sucked again. Let's just try and blow through this shit as quickly as possible because I've got more important things to be doing. September 1st, 2014 from Des Moines, Iowa. Show starts with Chris Jericho in the ring for the highlight reel, which was, I believe they announced this last week. I don't know. He's in the ring for the highlight reel. He starts talking. He talks about it being Labor Day. Whoop-de-doo. He tries to introduce his guest, Randy Orton. He's interrupted by the goddamn King of Kings music. And I'm thinking, why is Triple H coming out here? Well, it's not just Triple H. It's basically the entire authority. Triple H, Randy Orton, Kane, and Seth Rollins. No Stephanie, but don't worry, she comes out later. They all talk a bunch of shit. Triple H plugs the fucking network. And let's see, the point he's trying to get to is he doesn't think it would be best for business to allow John Cena to have his title rematch against Brock Lesnar at Night of Champions. Of course, Cena comes out, because he can't let this stand. Oh yeah, one other thing. Triple H says that it would not be wise, as the COO, to let his biggest cash cow basically get killed off. So that's his reasoning behind not wanting to give Cena his rematch, even though it was in his contract. As the former champion, you get a rematch clause, and Cena has invoked it. So, yeah. But anyways, Cena comes out. And he starts running his dick licker, of course. And the retarded point that he gets to is basically just what I just said. It was contractually stipulated that he can have a rematch if he so chooses, and he has chosen to do so. And so he says, if you don't let me have my title match, I'm going to sue you. He literally said, I'm going to sue you. How very face-like. I'm going to sue you, and he even said, and then I'll be the COO of the WWE, and my first act will be to fire you, Triple H. And while that would definitely be good for business, having the damn company be run by Cena would be 10 times worse. Ugh. Anyways. Oh yeah, this is the part where Triple H says it wouldn't be best for business for Cena to get killed off by Lesnar. Whatever. They all talk, saying, I should be the one. Randy says, I should be the one to go against Brock. Kane says, I should be the one. And Rollins says, I should be the one. And I had to laugh at Rollins. I'm sorry, kid. Just because you're close to your hometown doesn't mean you stand a chance in hell against Lesnar. Randy comes around to talking about Roman Reigns, saying that if he was in this ring right now, he'd... What'd he say? Take him out or put him down or some bullshit? I don't know. And of course, basically just because somebody said his name, out comes Roman Reigns. And he talks, and he starts off by saying, well, Randy, I'm here. What are you going to do about it? And Triple H has to hold him back. And Roman's like, yeah, that's what I thought. Psh, whatever. More bitching. Roman says he wants his name entered into the hat of people to take on Lesnar. And I'm thinking, yeah, because you've successfully won all of 0 singles titles. Once again, I've mentioned this before. He's been tag team champion with Rollins when they were part of the Shield. He has not won a single singles title yet. And hence, they really need to slow this shit down with him. So anyways, Triple H says, alright, it looks like all of you guys want to be the one to take the title from Brock Lesnar. But I don't know which one of you to pick, so I'm going to give you the opportunity to show me how bad you want it. We're going to have a 6-man tag team match between Roman Reigns, John Cena, and Chris Jericho versus, of course, the heel team of Rollins, Kane, and Orton. And that match is going to be the main event. And, as an added bonus, Triple H says he'll be at ringside to watch. And my immediate thought was, oh good, he's going to screw over the faces to help his buddies of the Authority. Fortunately, that actually didn't happen. So anyways, the segment's pretty much over. The heels start to leave, and the faces are standing tall in the ring. And Rollins goes around to the back of the ring over by the commentators, and he's got his Money in the Bank briefcase, and he tries to slide into the ring to deck Roman with it, but Roman turns around, sees him, and punches him in the fucking face. Knocks him out of the fucking ring. And then proceeds to throw his Money in the Bank briefcase at him while Rollins scurries up the fucking ramp like a dejected little girl. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, and that fucking segment took about 15 goddamn minutes. This is the shit I'm talking about, with them starting off Raw with a 15 to 20 minute boring ass promo with really no action. They do this every goddamn week, and it's really getting old. Anyways, we get hype for another rematch between the Big Show and Mark Henry versus the Wyatt flunkies. And I'm thinking, haven't we seen this shit enough? Haven't the Big Show and Henry curb stomped the flunkies enough times already? Haven't we buried them enough? Can we get something different? Why the fuck are Big Show and Henry a tag team? And that'll come up again later. Anyways, we get a recap from SmackDown. Sheamus taking on Damien Mizdow. Whatever. And apparently, we're going to have a tag team match up after this next commercial break, and it's going to be Ziggler and Sheamus versus The Miz and Cesaro. Speaking of which, there's Ziggler and Sheamus backstage. They're coming up to the gorilla position, basically, to come out for their match. The match is going to be next, and we cut to a commercial break. Coming back from the break, we get a recap of what just happened. You know, Rollins trying to attack Roman and failing miserably, like the little bitch that he is. Cutting back live into the arena, everybody's already out for this tag team match. And the music, or the Miz's music is playing, so he came out last, apparently. And, not only did the Miz come out, he came out with Sandow, wearing the Miz's white suit, and a makeup artist, complete with a little, like, director's chair sitting over by the commentary table. And I'm like, this shit is getting so goofy, it's almost surreal. He has his own stunt double and a makeup artist now. Jesus Christ. And so we get the match. Ziggler and Sandow versus Cesaro and Miz. The match was okay. And once again, tried to keep the damn notes to a minimum because I want to breeze through this shit as quick as possible. I can't stand this crap anymore. Commercial break. And what ends up happening, the Miz was in there with Ziggler. And Ziggler was, of course, kicking his ass. So Miz bails out of the ring. And he tried to tag in Sandow, his stunt double. And so Sandow tries to get in the ring, and the referee's like, whoa, you're not even in this match, motherfucker. Get the fuck out. Because, obviously that's dumb. Sandow was not in the match. It was The Miz and Cesaro. So obviously, ref don't allow Sandow to get involved in the match. But Sandow is in the ring. He turns around to get out of the ring. And while he's turned around, he's got his hands on the ropes. Ziggler jumps up and hits the zigzag on him. Yeah, you heard that right. Sandow had his hands on the ropes and still eats the zigzag. Soon as that happens, The Miz scrambles into the ring, grabs Ziggler from behind as he's standing up, gets him cinched up, hits the skull-crushing finale. 1, 2, 3, The Miz and Cesaro win. So, really kind of a what-the-fuck finish. The crowd was dead. Yeah, whatever. Moving on. I can't even be arsed to fucking yell or scream or anything about this shit this week. I so don't even care anymore. I can't care. My care gave out last week. I don't care. I don't care anymore. I just want to do something else now. I swear, I'm so close to giving up on this shit. Moving on. We get a recap from last week, the shit between the Bellas, like anyone cares. And that leads into one of the main stories of the night. These segments that they continuously do called Growing Up Bella. I don't know if this was supposed to be some parody, basically, of some other reality show that's on TV, Growing Up something or other. I don't know. I think that's what I heard this was. It was basically just a parody, but it's stupid. But we get this first Growing Up Bella segment, and what these basically are is Nikki Bella talking about growing up and being shit on by Brie. Her first one, Nikki talks about their high school prom and how she was going with this guy named Ryan. Showed a picture of the two of them together. And she said shortly after the picture was taken, Ryan disappeared. And she didn't know where the hell he went. She found him out in the parking lot making out with Brie. Or something like that. And I'm thinking, you're twins! The poor guy probably just got confused. Either that or he recognized that Brie was the nice one and he decided not to stick with the bitch. Moving on. Cutting back to the ring, we've got a crap load of bitches in the ring. We get a 6-diva tag team match that lasted all of about a minute. Summer Rae, Layla, and Naomi versus Eva Marie, Rosa Mendez, and Cameron. The match only lasted about a minute because, let's see, I can't even remember who the two legal ones were. Doesn't matter. Something happened, and all of a sudden, all the other girls get in the ring, and they just start sissy fighting with each other, and the ref is just like, fuck it, call for the bell. So, I don't know if this was a DQ or a no contest. Either way, the crowd didn't give a fuck. Moving on. We get another recap, this time from 2 weeks ago, when they murdered Dean Ambrose. Stomping his fucking head through the cinder blocks. They murdered him. And then they also recap last week when they tried to do the same thing to Roman Reigns, but Roman fought back and was able to fight off Rollins and Kane, and even going so far as throwing one of the cinder blocks up against the ring post so it would shatter. Whatever. We get hyped for the 6-man tag match that was announced by Triple H's dumbass earlier. We also get hype once again for Big Show and Henry versus Bray's bitches. And that match is going to be next. And we cut to a commercial break. Coming back, Big Show and Henry are already coming out. And then they do the Wyatt cut and the stupid child choir singing. And then we get the Hillbilly Rock. And these two pieces of dog shit come out. Moving on, we get the match. It was crap, of course. Commercial break. And shortly after they came back from the commercial break, Rusev and Lana come out. No music. They just come walking out down the ramp. And I was like, why the hell are these... Oh, right. Because I had to think for a minute, because I almost forgot about this. The thing between Henry and Rusev from like a week or two ago. I almost forgot because I was just hoping and praying that they were going to drop it. But those two fucksticks come out. And that plays into the finish of the match. Henry got... Who was it? Rowan up, I think, for the World's Strongest Slam. Rusev gets in the ring and super kicks Henry in the face as he turns around with Rowan in his arms. So Henry gets kicked in the face, falls backwards, Rowan lands on top of him. And of course, the referee's watching this. DQ, ring the bell. And then what ends up happening is the Wyatts tried to attack Big Show and Henry with chairs, but somehow Henry got one of the chairs away from them and he was able to fight off Harper and Rowan, and they decided to leave again like dejected little girls. They just continue to bury these guys. And I don't even like them, but it's really pathetic how they fucked these guys over. They're almost turning face just by virtue of the fact that they're so sympathetic that they're getting buried so much. Up next, another Growing Up Bella segment. Oh, and this is, of course, like a pre-tape. It's not a fucking in-the-ring thing. And by the way, Nikki starts with the same line in all of these different segments. What did she say? Oh yeah, my sister Brie has always been manipulative, and, you know, whatever. She starts with the same damn line every time. This time, she talks about when they were 16 and they were taking their driver's test to get their driver's license. And she says that she passed, but Brie didn't. And when they got home, their mom had surprised them with a used car. A 2000 Honda Civic. And she talks about, oh, but since Brie failed, I had to drive her around and all this shit, and yada, yada, yada. And then, what was it? We went to a party one night, and Brie ran off with the car, and she also took my driver's license. And of course, she totaled the car. And when the cops came, she gave them Nikki's driver's license. So Nikki had to take the blame, and Brie got off scot-free. Where's that tiny violin again? I can't remember where I fucking put it. Moving on. We get hyped for another segment coming up called Hustle, Loyalty, and Focus. Obviously, it's about Cena. That's going to be next, and they cut to another commercial break. Coming back from the break, they announce that next week for Raw, I don't even know why I'm bringing this up, because it's probably not going to lead to anything. But apparently, next week for Raw, they have invited this football player. Apparently, he played for the St. Louis Rams and was kicked off the team. His name is Michael Sam. They have invited him to Raw next week, and they're going to give him a live microphone so he can talk about why he got kicked off the team. Apparently, it may have to do with the fact that he's one of the only openly gay football players. Now, I couldn't give a shit about things like that. Number one, I don't care about football, and number two, I don't care if you're gay. Why are they doing this? Seriously, I hate it when they bring people from outside of wrestling, especially football players, into the wrestling show. Anyways, like I said, don't even know why I'm bringing this up. Let's just move on. Here's the stupid hustle, loyalty, and focus bullshit. It essentially amounts to a recap video package of Cena invoking his rematch clause, and then the stupid video package from last week where Lesnar and Heyman talked about Cena and all this shit. They also showed clips from the Legends Forum last week, as well as Cena beating the hell out of the Wyatts from last week. And so that's basically all there was to that shit. Cutting back live into the arena, Justin Roberts, the ring announcer, introduces Paul Heyman, who comes out onto the stage and cuts a boring goddamn promo. Also showing a picture recap from SummerSlam, yada yada yada. I don't fucking care anymore, moving on. Jack Swagger comes out, and hey look, here comes Zeb Coulter too, he's finally back. Cut to a commercial. And when we come back, Curtis Axel is in the ring. Don't know if I mentioned this, but Ryback was injured, and so he's going to be out for a while. Not like I'll miss him, but whatever. After we see that Axel's about to get his ass kicked by Swagger, we get a recap from SmackDown of Bo Dallas costing Swagger his match versus Rusev. Apparently that's what happened. I don't give a fuck. Apparently it had something to do with somebody throwing a towel in for Swagger. And off of that distraction, Bo was able to jump up on the apron and clock Swagger from behind so that Rusev could put him in the Accolade and win the match or whatever the fuck. I don't know. I don't care. And so we get this match between Swagger and Curtis Axel. There's not much notes from the match itself because the bigger story was, in the middle of the match, Bo Dallas comes out on the stage. No music or anything. He comes out on the stage, and there are apparently a couple of stagehands who set up these 3 chairs. They're like bar stool chairs with like backs to them. He has these 3 chairs set up. And then these 3 people come up, 2 dudes and a chick, and they sit in these chairs. And Dallas is standing there in front of them with a microphone. And they basically just watch the match. Swagger ends up locking Axel in the Patriot Lock for the tap-out victory. So Swagger wins. The match was meh. And Swagger's music starts playing because he won, but then all of a sudden Bo interrupts. And he starts running his dick licker. And he says, these three people are three of the 318 million that you disappointed when you lost to Rusev at SummerSlam. And he introduces each one in turn. This first guy, he's a farmer, and he lost all his money betting on Swagger at SummerSlam. And I'm thinking, well, good. If you're stupid enough to bet on pro wrestling, you deserve to lose all your fucking money, you moron. And by the way, this guy was supposedly a farmer. He looked nothing like a farmer. He was wearing a button-up, like, dress shirt, and he was wearing glasses. And I'm like, yeah, because this guy looks like he's a farmer. Anyways, Bo moves on to the second guy. This is Angelo or something like that. He's some immigrant who he was trying to earn his citizenship, but because he was so disappointed by Swagger losing, he failed his citizenship test and is now getting deported back to Italy or wherever the fuck he's from. And again, I'm like, where's that tiny violin? I don't care! Moving on to the third one, the lady. He says, this is Jennifer. And her son's favorite wrestler used to be Jack Swagger. But after SummerSlam, it's now Vladimir Putin. And they even show a picture of Putin up on the thing. And I'm like, wait a minute, when did Lana take over this fucking promo? What the hell is this shit? And of course, Bo ends by saying, all you gotta do is Bo leave. And then they cut to a commercial. Coming back from the commercial, Adam Rose is in the middle of making his entrance, and I'm like, wait a minute, I thought they were going to drop this douche. Sadly, no. He's in the middle of his entrance, and then they show that there's Heath Slater and Titus O'Neil are already in the ring. And I'm like, oh great, because those chuckleheads are just what I wanted right now. What we're getting is a singles match between Adam Rose and Titus O'Neil. But this isn't really a fucking singles match, because while the match is going on in the ring, we get a bigger story on the outside of the ring. Heath Slater is on the outside, cheering on Titus. He's banging on the mat. And then when Titus did his goofy little dog barking thing, which is atrocious, Slater started mimicking it and making it sound even worse. And I was like, God, I didn't even think that was possible. But either way, Slater's over there being obnoxious. And so the bunny from Adam Rose's entourage, or his party people, his rosebuds, there's always a guy in a bunny suit. This guy comes hopping up over to the fucking ringside steps, and he's looking over at Slater, and Slater's looking at him, and he's just kind of hopping around. He hops around the steps and goes over to Slater, and I think he kind of shook his ass at Slater, and Slater kicked him or something, and so the bunny double-leg takes down Slater, starts punching him in the fucking face, and I'm like, what the hell now? Yeah, the bunny is beating the shit out of Heath Slater. By the way, Heath, that's how you know you are a complete fucking jobber. You're getting beat up by a guy in a bunny suit. Only thing would have been better if he was blasting you over the head with a steel dildo. If only to make a George Carlin joke finally come true. So yeah, anyways, this shit's going on the outside of the ring. Titus looks over and sees this. He's like, what the fuck? Adam Rose rolls him up for the fucking 1-2-3. Match is over. Rose wins. God damn, stupid shit. And then Rose rolls out of the ring, And he goes over to the bunny, and he kind of hugs the bunny or whatever, and then they grab Slater and throw him into the ringside steps. And I'm like, what the fuck? How very face-like of you. What is this shit? Not only that, but I noticed during Rose's entrance he was growing his beard out. Normally he just has like the chin strap going along his chin, and maybe a little bit coming up on the sides, but he doesn't have the full mustache, the whole thing going around his mouth. Tonight he had the full mustache and everything going around his mouth, and I'm like, that's what he looked like when he was Leo Kruger. Could this be them showing that they're going to change him into Leo Kruger? Because that could be the only possible good thing that could come of this. And if you want to make it like a split personality thing where he switches back and forth and like he's only Leo Kruger when he's really pissed off at somebody or angry or whatever the fuck, I don't know, fine. Just, ugh. Moving on, we get another Growing Up Bella segment. Nikki talks about graduation. When the two of them graduated from high school, she said that Brie was in danger of being held back because she was failing, wasn't doing good enough, whatever the fuck. Nikki offered to tutor her and help her out and all this shit, but Brie still just wasn't getting it and whatever. And so what ended up happening is Nikki agreed to take Brie's place, take her final exams for her, so that she could pass. Twin magic, huh? And she also says that she never told anybody about this or the thing with the car crash. Whatever. Moving on. Back in the arena, Rusev and Lana come out to no goddamn reaction. And then commercial break. And when we come back from the commercial break, Lana starts cutting a promo, and while she's talking, I'm noticing that there's somebody else in the ring. And I'm like, oh, that's Zack Ryder again. Lana cuts her boring promo about Labor Day and how it's just another excuse for Americans to take a day off. And she also says, you Americans suck. She's like, what is that expression? You suck. Fucking bitch. We get the match, and of course it was shit. It was basically a squash match. The one good thing that happened is when Ryder tried to mount a little bit of offense, he was in the corner, Rusev tried to charge him, Ryder jumps up and does his little double knee thing. Instead of just giving a guy a big boot like a normal guy. No, I gotta put both my knees up. He does that, and that usually staggers somebody. He runs at him to go for the Rough Rider. Well, he does this. He jumps up. Rusev catches him in powerbomb position. I'm like, oh yes, please powerbomb him on his back and break his back. No. He stops and puts him down, and whoever. Doesn't matter. Rusev locks in the fucking accolade, he breaks his back and he fucks his ass and he makes him humble, and Ryder taps out like the bitch that he is. Crowd's dead. The flag explodes down from the top. And then Mark Henry's music hits and he starts coming out. And they even gave him like an American flag Minitron and Titantron. And I'm like, what the fuck? He's not Jack Swagger. Soon as Henry gets close to the ring, Rusev bails out of the ring and runs away. And so Henry grabs a microphone. Rusev and Lana are like up on the ramp. And Henry starts talking, saying like, where are you going? I want to fight, and all this shit. I just opened up an international wing of the Hall of Pain. And I'm going to make you the first inductee or whatever the fuck. Moving on. We cut backstage to the office, and there's Triple H talking to somebody who is revealed to be Stephanie McMahon. And they're apparently talking about the Bellas. Stephanie apparently has some announcement. And cut to a commercial break. Coming back, Stephanie's lousy music hits and she comes out to no fucking reaction. And what we get here is another terribly long, boring, talking promo segment that sucked and did nothing but shit on a lot of other things. Stephanie comes out, she talks, and she says that she's one of the most powerful women in America. You stupid, dopey whore. You're not even close to being one of the most powerful women in America. Number one, that list is pretty short. Number two, even if it is short, you're still nowhere near the top of it. Later on, by the way, I think it was that dickhead JBL, compared Triple H and Stephanie to being one of the most powerful power couples in America, comparing them to Obama and Michelle. And again, I had to laugh because that is so far from the truth. You cannot possibly say this shit with a straight face. I know it's in the script and you're paid to say this shit, but you cannot believe that. Okay? You cannot believe that. Anyways, getting back to the bullshit at hand. Stephanie asks Nikki Bella to come out. And of course she does, and she gets no reaction, of course. And as soon as the two of them are in the ring, the crowd is immediately chanting, "Boring, boring." And I'm like, yes! Tell these motherfuckers that you don't care about them anymore. Or that you ever did. Stephanie says that because of her actions lately, Nikki is most certainly the face of the Divas division. And again, I just had to start laughing. And so she says she's going to give Nikki a shot at the Divas title. And I'm like, wait a minute. She has no claim to that title. Paige and AJ are in the middle of a feud right now. And you're gonna fuck that up? The Bella music starts coming or playing again, and out comes Brie, and Stephanie's like, nope, turn that music off. That is only for Nikki now. Brie comes out, and she basically tells Stephanie to fuck off, because I'm gonna talk to my sister, and it's just between me and her. They talk, and I don't remember or care what the fuck they said. All of a sudden, AJ's music starts playing. And I'm like, oh dear Lord, they're not going to try to intertwine these two storylines together, are they? Yeah, they do. AJ comes out. Of course, immediately we get a CM Punk chant. She starts talking, and what she basically says is, she's talking to Stephanie, and she says, you do understand the concept of a number one contender, right? And she says that because she's the former champion, she hasn't gotten her rematch yet. She's the number one contender by default. And then Paige comes out. And of course, I think Paige was saying something. I can't remember what it was, but I have it written down, Nikki's LOL line. Apparently Nikki said something made me laugh my ass off. It must have been something that, again, was so laughably untrue. I can't remember what it was, though. Either way, what ends up happening is Nikki starts going off on Brie again, yelling at her, I want you to quit. If you love me, you'll quit again. Go away and leave me alone. And Bree's looking like she's going to leave the ring. But then she turns around and she shoves Nikki real hard. Nikki falls backwards into Paige and they both fall over. And then Bree leaves, sobbing like a bitch. AJ takes this opportunity. Paige is down and she dropped the Divas title, so AJ picks up the belt and starts skipping around with it. And as she's skipping around in a circle, Stephanie gets in her path, and so she's face to face with AJ. And Stephanie tells her to give me the belt. And AJ don't want to, and then Steph's like, now! And so I'm thinking, oh, please God, hit her in the face with it. I'll give it to you. Boom! That would have been awesome, but no. She just hands it to Stephanie, and Stephanie takes it. And then AJ leaves. And they start chanting CM Punk again. AJ skips away. And Paige finally gets up, and she takes the belt back from Stephanie, and then she skips off. And that's the end of the fucking segment. Fucking dog shit. I hate this show. Excuse me, by the way. More hype for the 6-man tag match main event, and we cut to another commercial break. Coming back from the break, they announced that tomorrow night on Main Event, we're going to get a Miz TV segment, and his guest will be Dolph Ziggler. So obviously this is going to end in a brawl, that's number one. But number two is, why do we care? Because it's on Main Event. Then we get a recap of what just happened between all these bitches. And then they also announced that next week on Raw, we're going to get a rematch between Bray Wyatt and Chris Jericho, but this time, it's going to be in a steel cage match. And I'm thinking, oh great, is Bray going to win by having that creepy kid sing to Jericho? Because that's the only way he won last time. Speaking of Bray, he cuts another stupid promo on the Titantron. Moving on, the Usos come out to hardly any reaction for once. And we get a recap of last week, the match between Goldust and Stardust versus the Usos, the count out, and the resulting heel turn and beatdown. Goldust music hits and he comes out to the stage and waits for Cody, and out comes Cody. And the two of them come out together. And Goldust has a microphone. And as he's getting into the ring, he starts talking, saying he wants to apologize. Apparently they did this same bit on SmackDown, and the Usos fell for it, and so they wound up getting their asses kicked. But this time they didn't fall for it, and so they attack Cody and Goldie. So it turns into a fight. But this is actually supposed to be a singles match. They finally get them all broken up, and it gets to the match. It's Jimmy Uso versus Goldust. Match was meh again. Goldust wins with the final cut. Crowd's dead. And then after the match, Cody and Goldust decide they're going to beat the shit out of Jay, the Uso who's hurt with the knee injury. They kick his knee out of his knee, and then they beat the shit out of him, and then they get him down in the ring, in the corner, and they put his leg up against the corner post, and I think it was Cody who went and grabbed a chair and just wrapped that motherfucker around dude's leg around the post, and the motherfucker howled like a bitch. Ah! My knee! Ah! And I'm like, shut up, you pussy! Where's that damn violin again? Moving on. Once again, we get a recap of Dean Ambrose's murder last week, or 2 weeks ago, and then last week, Reigns, them trying to murder him too. And that's basically just a segue. They then show Rollins, Orton, and Kane backstage, one of the little backstage areas, where they're discussing strategy. You can't hear what they're saying, but whatever, it's time for a commercial break. And I guess they basically said that the match, the 6-man tag match, was up next. And I'm thinking, oh good, finally, this shit's almost over. Coming back from the commercial break, we get a recap from Rusev super kicking Henry in the face during the match with the Wyatts. And that segues into a backstage segment. There's Big Show and Henry in the locker room backstage. And they're basically talking about, Henry's talking, I gotta get this Rusev motherfucker, and so Big Show's like, yeah, man, okay, fine, but I hope this isn't gonna get in the way of us being a tag team, and, we could be one of the most dominating tag teams, and, and Henry's like, yeah, I'm all for that, but I need to take care of this shit first. And Henry's like, okay, man, I got you back, I'm in your corner, and Henry's like, no, I gotta do this by myself. I gotta do this for myself, and I gotta do this for my country, and I'm thinking, Big Show's American too, right? Anyways, whatever, so moving on. Cutting back out to the arena, the King of Kings music hits again. And out comes Triple H and Stephanie to no reaction again. And we get a recap from the opening segment, that clusterfuck of a goddamn promo. And then Cena comes out, and it didn't really sound like he got much of a reaction. I'm not sure. I was like, getting my finger in my ear, I'm like cleaning it out, I'm like, is he getting hardly any reaction? I got my ear right up to the speaker, I'm like, he's barely getting a reaction. And then they cut to a commercial break. And when they come back, Roman's already on his way coming out. And they announce during Roman's entrance that for SmackDown, we're going to get Paige versus Brie Bella. No idea why. And they also announced that for next week, we're going to get a rematch from SummerSlam of Roman versus Randy Orton. And then Chris Jericho comes out with his light bright jacket and everything and whatever. And then Rollins' music hits. And he gets a small pop because they're in Iowa, his home state. He got barely a pop, though, so he hardly got any reaction. It was like a small pop at the beginning, and then they went dead. Kane comes out, he gets no reaction. Orton comes out, he gets no reaction. And then we start the goddamn match, and it's about fucking time, because I am so bored of this shit. And once again, I hardly took any notes, because there wasn't really anything all that interesting. So whatever. There's a commercial break in the middle of the match. And then, let's see. Right before they went to another commercial break, this was after the first one during this match, Jericho jumps up and hits a code breaker on Rollins. And then they immediately cut to commercial. And I'm like, yeah, because right after somebody hits a finishing move, that's a perfect time to cut to a fucking commercial. As it turns out, when they finally come back from the commercial break, they're like, oh yeah, because, we left at such an inopportune moment, we're going to show you what happened during the commercial break. And apparently what happened was, Jericho hit the code breaker, Rollins falls down over close to the ropes, and of course, idiot logic, Jericho jumps over Rollins' corpse and lays on him for the cover with his boots right hanging out of the fucking ring. And of course, Randy Orton from outside of the ring grabs Jericho by the leg and yanks him out to break up the pin. And I'm like, why do people still do that spot? It is so contrived, it is so dumb. If you knock somebody out close to the ropes, you drag their carcass away from the fucking ropes, you pin them, and you hook the goddamn leg. You don't lay anywhere near the goddamn ropes. That spot is so contrived and shitty. Please stop using it. Anyways, finish of the match after a big goddamn clusterfuck. Let's see. Cena had been sitting on the apron the whole damn match. Roman and Jericho wouldn't tag him in. Cena finally gets tagged in off of a fucking hot tag, and he comes in and basically clears house. And he lays out Kane with an attitude adjustment. only to then see that Roman is on the apron and he wants some, and so Cena goes over and tags Roman back in, and I'm like, wait a minute, the whole point of this match is to show how much you want that title shot. You'd think he'd stay in to try to get the fall, but no, he tags Roman in, and he allows Roman to get the win. Roman runs through Kane with a spear and gets the win. And while Roman's doing that, Cena bails out of the ring to go over and stand in front of Triple H and Stephanie and do the "you can't see me" thing right in their face. Just yakking at him, yelling, blah, 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 blah. So Cena, Reigns, and Y2J get the win. The match was okay, I guess. It really wasn't that great, though. Yeah, Cena's yakety-yakking over in Triple H and Stephanie's face. Rollins thinks he's gonna be badass using this distraction. He goes over to attack Cena like an idiot. Cena immediately turns it around or just catches the stupid little shit, gets him up on his shoulders, and gives him the attitude adjustment onto the commentary table. Which, because Rollins' little pansy ass is maybe $150, the table don't break. And even though Roman's music was playing since he got the pin on Kane, after the attitude adjustment, Cena's music starts playing, and I'm like, what the fuck? Either way, afterwards, Cena gets back in the ring with Jericho and Roman, and they celebrate. And while they're celebrating, they have to remind us next week the thing with Michael Sam. He's going to be here, or he's been invited to be here next week. I'm going to laugh if he turns them down and says fuck off. They also remind us that we're going to see Randy and Roman Reigns the rematch. And they also remind us that we're going to get Y2J and Bray in the cage match. And I'm like, why in the fuck are they hyping up these matches right at the end of the show? And then Cena goes out of the ring and he grabs a sign out of the crowd. And on one side it has the "you can't see me" thing, but on the other side it says "tag me in." And Cena, like a lunkhead, holds the sign up so the "tag me in" part is facing the camera. He's facing the hard camera, and he's got the sign holded up above his head, and it says "tag me in." And then he throws the sign out of the ring, and he does the little "you can't see me" thing, and I'm like, yeah, you fucking jerk off. That's the end of the show. And my only final note here is they mentioned that next week's episode of Raw will be in Baltimore, Maryland. So that's it for the show. As always, let's recap the matches. Just to fucking drag this out even longer than it needs to be. The first match we got was Cesaro and The Miz defeating Ziggler and Sheamus. Match was okay, but the fucking finish was stupid as shit. We got the clusterfuck of a 6-girl divas match between Summer Rae, Layla, and Naomi versus Eva, Rosa Mendez, and Cameron, which I guess went to a no contest when the bitches wouldn't stop fighting each other. Who cares? Moving on. Big Show and Henry defeat the Flunkies, Rowan and Harper, by DQ when Rusev super kicked Henry in the face. Swagger defeats Curtis Axel. Adam Rose rolls up Titus O'Neil for a fucking bullshit win. Rusev squashes Jack Ryder in a shit match. Jimmy Uso gets the shit beat out of him by Goldust. And then in the main event, Cena, Roman Reigns, and Chris Jericho defeat Seth Rollins, the home state boy, Kane, and Randy Orton in an okay match. That's it for the Wrestling Rant. I need to go do something else, so thank you for watching. That's been the Raw results for September 1st, 2014 from Des Moines, Iowa. And as I said before, next week's show is going to be in Baltimore, Maryland. Still have to get through SmackDown first, not like it's going to matter much. Look forward to that. I'm thinking of changing up my format a little bit with the SmackDown video. I don't know. Either way, doesn't matter. Thank you for watching. That's it for the show tonight. Stay tuned for the SmackDown video sometime in the next couple of days. We'll see what goes on with that. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.